Good afternoon, everyone. Real pleasure to see everyone here today. I have a list of individuals to recognize, and I'm now looking around the room, and this list is much too short. So I'm going to be cautious about naming people in the audience because, frankly, everybody I see has had a tremendous hand in making this possible. You know, this vision, this collaboration within our community is extraordinary, and it gives me great pride to be here amongst you to bring to fruition a dream that we've all been having, a shared vision that's been part of this community for too long. Joining us today and speaking today will be Mayor Crombie, who is here with us and has been very helpful in spearheading some of the amendments that we are now enjoying as we proceed forward. Of course, all of you know Councillor Jim Tobey, who has been an extraordinary. He has been diligent and never faltering in his desire to see Lakeview be protected. And Jeff Lodge is here, our President and CEO of Ontario Power Generator. Him and his team have been extraordinary as well in working and collaborating with the city and with the province in our memorandum of understanding as to how to proceed forward. And again, that's another tremendous example of how we can cooperate to achieve good things. We're here today to announce another milestone in the critical step of redeveloping our waterfront and seeing the dreams of our community come to life. I've lived here since I was 7 years old. I walked down Ogden Avenue pretty much every day at the base of the Four Sisters as I went to school. I saw a lot of plume back in those days. What I didn't see was the view of the lake, and here we are living in Lakeview. So we dream for better, a shared dream to access the trail and the beach, and ladies and gentlemen, that is now becoming closer to reality. This majestic property was home to much, and will be home to even more. The Lakeview site has a rich and varied history. Initially, it was farmland in the 1800s. Eventually, it was manufacturing and industrial in the 1900s. It was a tremendous history during the war. The women in our community working in industry. We celebrated them a number of times, and that was a great history of our community, even in aviation, and certainly during the police training programs. Then a coal-fired plant was constructed in the 1950s. It opened in 1962. It grew to become the Four Sisters until 2005. It was an economic driver for 43 years, but it also became one of the worst polluters in the GTA, with many smog days and asthma and pulmonary attacks. And the area, frankly, became known as having one of the poorest air sheds in Ontario, even when the scrubbers were being used. Today, we have 177 acres of near vacant property, with approximately 2.6 kilometers of lake frontage, including a channel and a pier. It's one of the last remaining significant land parcels in the GTA that will facilitate multi-phase development right here on our waterfront. So I'm pleased to announce that we will commence today to sell the property and protect the waterfront for future generations. Jones Lang LaSalle Real Estate Services will manage the submissions. They've been engaged as the broker. Infrastructure Ontario is the real estate strategic advisor for the disposition of the property, in keeping with the budget, in keeping with our desires. I first made clear that Lakeview would be protected for the public good and be used as mixed use in the budgets of 2014, 2015, 2016, just in case there was any misunderstanding that this property is going back to the community. The city has spearheaded an official plan amendment and its process for the entire site, including the mixed business employment site above and around Lakeview. It reflects the principles of Inspiration Lakeview planning process, Inspiration Lakeview's master plan that was a result of a long-term visioning process for the area, which began in 2010. Began under the leadership of Jim Tovey in collaboration with the ratepayers associations, and more importantly, with all of you. It now, yes. We're estimating 5,000 residential, employment offices, cultural hub, an institutional campus, and a water park. Details of the official plan amendment include higher order of transit in the corridor with future expansion, distinct precincts including Rangeview Estates, Ogden Village, Innovation Corridor, and a cultural waterfront. It'll be predominantly mid-rise built form with low-rise townhouses, low-rise apartment buildings, and mid-rise apartment buildings. But furthermore, and this part is critical, this is what makes me even prouder than anything else that I've done in the province of Ontario. We are partitioning 67 of those acres to be protected as water lots and parkland and be used to transform public access for our community and be environmentally protected, and those lots are being transferred to the city of Mississauga. That will enable us to have an innovative green community incorporating sustainable best practices, and it'll be a complete community drawing in visitors across the province to our region. This historic project will be the jewel in the crown of Mississauga as we continue to promote redevelopment of our waterfront and maintain true to our shared vision of our community to bring together the cultural, the business, the education, and the environmental issues. Lakeview will be a top destination on the shores of Lake Ontario, inspired by the people of our community. We have been able to cooperate and achieve these milestones because everybody worked together to do so. And more importantly, the voices that were most heard were those of the community. And they stood loud and they stood strong. 2009 for me was a tremendous milestone. When we at the top of the hill with Jim Danahy and Jim Tovey, we went up there and ensured that we put a stake on the ground to determine that the province would not build a power plant on this site. And that, friends, was enabling us to move to the extent that we are now. It also requires complete buy-in from city officials, city planners, together with the bureaucracy of the province, working collaboratively. But another major point, of course, was OPG's concurrence to do so. To talk a bit more about the city's engagement and their leadership to enable us to come to this point in time, please welcome our worship, Mayor Bonnie Crombie.
Well, thank you, Charles, and good afternoon, everyone. Are you as excited as I am? Come on. I stand before you to say that it is a transformational day in Mississauga yet again, and I'm so very proud. I do remember that day, Charles. We stood on that hillside. I was there as an engaged citizen, and it was Minister George Smitherman that made that announcement, and so we'll remember him very fondly today. And on behalf of our great city, the city of Mississauga, the members of my council, of course, we have a local town hero, Jim Tovey from More Wonderful with us. Yes, we'll get more from him shortly. And Councillor Nando Unica, I know he was introduced from Ward 7, our city manager, Janice Baker, Ed Sejecki, a couple of our commissioners, lots of staff here on hand to celebrate, to join Minister Sousa and our partners in the provincial government for yet another historic city building announcement. I also want to recognize the very active and engaged and thoughtful South Mississauga ratepayers and residents, all of whom have been actively involved in the future planning of the Lakeview lands, and we thank you. We're very privileged to have such an involved, active, and engaged numerous residents associations here in Mississauga, particularly in the South. I know all of you and consider each of you Jim Tovey's extended family, because that's how he thinks of you as well. Finally, let me also acknowledge our tremendous staff from the city of Mississauga for their year-round professionalism and behind-the-scenes work to really shape the future of our city. And there's one person here who's come back from retirement who's done a lot of work on this, and I want to acknowledge Susan Burt, who is here with us. Now, folks, Rome wasn't built in a day, but that's because those Romans didn't have Jim Tovey. It's truly remarkable how far Inspiration the Lakeview plan has traveled in such a modest amount of time. Before Jim was a councillor, he was a concerned citizen. Jim's genuine vision, coupled with his infectious enthusiasm that never seems to slow down, to transform the Lakeview community into the place where people can enjoy an unrivaled quality of life, embodies the very best of public service, Jim. Shortly before becoming mayor myself in 2015, Janice Baker, our city manager, and I attended a pre-budget consultation at the Living Arts Center hosted by Minister Charles Sousa, and it would be the first of many meetings. And during that same pre-budget consultation meeting, we discussed Council's vision to move forward with the Inspiration Lakeview Master Plan. Lakeview's promising future has always been a consistent priority in our pre-budget submissions to the provincial government. I knew he was on side, but we just wanted to remind him. Today's announcement of the Ontario Generation Plan plans have begun that process that will lead to the transformation of 177 acres of Lakeview lands, and 67 of them will be for us, for the city. We're so excited. And it's proof that the priorities of Ontario's third largest city, Mississauga, are the same priorities as the Ontario provincial government, and we thank you. The Lakeview community is nestled in Minister Sousa's Mississauga Lakeshore constituency. And Minister, we know you understand that the Lakeview neighborhood is an untapped potential to be transformed into a community that is the envy of the world. In May 2015, we gathered at the Mississauga Art Gallery as Minister Sousa announced that the provincial government will invest $450,000 towards the revitalization of the Lakeview lands. And then last September, we were together once again to mark the groundbreaking of the Lakeview Waterfront Connection Project, just to give you some of the background sequence. And that was a plan to create a beautiful and naturalized conservation area that will transform the Lakeview neighborhood into a hub for passive waterfront recreation, a hotspot for wildlife migration, and a green oasis. Today's announcement is further proof of Mississauga's next 40 years will not look like the last 40. We are building a complete city, a livable, walkable city, fully connected by public transit and accessible to quality public services, home to mixed-use residential and commercial developments, healthy, clean, and both green and creative spaces, and neighborhoods that embody Mississauga's forward-looking values as an inviting, inclusive, and engaging place that people choose to be in, while at the same time safeguarding our respect for the local history, like the Small Arms Inspections Building and our plans to transform this historic site into a hub for education, industry, but particularly for creativity. Our urban renaissance is building a bridge from our past as an edge city and into our future as a leading edge city. Effective urban planning is our responsibility and our legacy to future generations. It is how our council will be judged. The decisions we make today will affect our future in a very profound way. And I think we've made the right decisions on this site. And I'm proud to work with such a committed council of professionals who have the best interests of the city and their residents in their hearts. Residents should be very proud of their council. We have undertaken a series of comprehensive studies and community consultations just like Inspiration Lakeview. And these community gatherings serve as important forums for residents and for businesses to share their intimate and local knowledge of the local community. So together, we have produced a dynamic vision for this property. Once again, I want to thank the residents who have been so engaged in every step of this process for shaping their community, which is really what this project embodies. Thank you to Minister Sousa for your commitment to this community, and the work you've done to make today possible. And thank you to the city staff who have worked tirelessly on this project for many, many years, with always an eye to creating the blueprint and the vision for a world-class community on the waterfront. And this is a culmination of a very long journey, folks. And last but not least, I want to thank you, Jim Tovey, for your extraordinary work and your vision to make this a reality, Jim. Much of the credit for today goes to you, Jim. Your tenacity, your commitment, and your passion for the waterfront. I know he's embarrassed. Look at him. Your commitment to the waterfront and to your community is unparalleled, Jim. It's unrivaled, honestly. And I'm honored. I'm honored that we serve together. And today is about you and your community and Minister Sousa and what we've all brought together for this very exciting announcement. So together, we're envisioning a bright new future for Mississauga and for Lakeview and for Ontario, and the rest of Canada will be envious. Thank you all.
So I get the pleasure of introducing our next speaker. Some of you may remember this individual who has a tendency to pride himself as a rock and roll singer. And I recall when I first met him, at a debate no less, when I was first running, and he was so concerned about what this guy would want to do if he were to become MPP. Well, we got to know each other over a couple of years. You remember him at the time? He had this long ponytail down to his arse. And he would unbutton it, and he would shake it off, and then we'd get into a Mick Jagger routine. And I thought, this guy's pretty cool. What's really cool, though, is that he is passionate about our community, and he cares. He cares deeply to ensure that we protect the waterfront and our place for generations to come. He also cares about our past, though, right? The arms building, the areas, the history. He doesn't forget where we come from, where we came from. But he's very, very passionate about ensuring that where we're going next will be for the benefit of many of our children and grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a leader and a passionate member of our community, Jim Tovey.
Thank you. I'm completely gobstruck, and thank you all so much for the wonderful, wonderful comments. I think it's instructive as far as how important today is, how really truly important it is for our community and for the city of Mississauga, and I believe for the province of Ontario, and I believe for the world. It started for me in 1994. I was taking my dog on a walk. I think a lot of you people have heard the Jake story, and Jake was a kind of a crazy dog, and he used to attack everything, so I used to run him in the hydro corridor. And I actually went back and looked at it. It was August 28th of 1994 at about a little after 11 o'clock at night. And I was standing on the hill just north of the power plant. And all of a sudden the moon came over and it hit the water and it just glistened like diamonds. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, isn't that beautiful? And then I looked over my left shoulder and I could see the apartment buildings over at Dixie, or just past Dixie Road here. I thought, wow, that's a long way. And I looked over my right shoulder and I could see the apartments over at Caven and thought, my goodness, how big is this site? And then I looked at the Four Sisters and went, boy, if we could just get rid of this and turn this back to the community, what could we create that could be a model of sustainability for the future? And then in 1999, we started advocating to have the coal generating station closed. By 2005, we had the coal generating station closed, and then an 1,150 megawatt gas plant was going to be constructed, and we thought, well, there's a much, instead of running out in the street, one of our members of our ratepayers association wanted to get 4x8 sheets of plywood that say no power plant and block Lakeshore in the middle of the rush hour. We're like, that's not going to work too much. That's really, they're just going to hate us if we do that. And I partnered with an incredible human being who's become to be one of my dearest friends, Professor John Danning, who is who really deserves the majority of the credit for this beautiful plant that we have here, and his students, actually. And we thought, okay, well, let's take that idea and vision it with the community and see actually what we could create that would be a model of sustainability for the future. We all worked really hard on it. The community, everybody in the community worked really hard on it. We went to council in 2008. Council had unanimously voted, no offense council, but council had unanimously voted to change the zoning from manufacturing 1, which was just manufacturing, to utility 1, which was just power plants, sewage plants, and water plants, and maybe maybe district energy with burning garbage or something in there thrown in. And so they had done that 3 years before we went to council. We went to council, we took everybody with us. People were phoning me saying, I can't get a babysitter, but I'd really like to come to council. And we were like, bring the baby, that's what it's all about, bring the baby. And we even had, when Premier McGuinty closed the power plant, he did it from Bigmont Beach Public School, which was right behind my house. And we had this great clip that we got on the Liberal website, because we love strategy, on the Liberal website that showed Dalton McGuinty telling these kids how they were going to make a cleaner environment for them and their future was going to be great and everything. So I lifted it off their website. And then we got a hold of the principal of the school, who I knew through the fence, and said, hey, do you think the kids need a civics day? And so we brought the kids that were in grade 3 and 4 at the time to council when John and I presented the Legacy Project, which is the grandfather of this. And we introduced them. We said, oh, we have the kids here from Premier McGuinty's announcement on cleaner air and a brighter future. And council unanimously, thank you very much, council, unanimously endorsed the plan. And then, of course, Charles helped us. And here we are today, quite a few years later, but it really is going to be quite something spectacular. It's going to be something that everybody in this community can be proud of. It's going to be something that the province of Ontario can be proud of. It's going to be something Canada can be proud of, and it's going to be a model of sustainability for the world. Our master plan is attached to the sale. Our official plan policies are attached to the sale. The official plan policies speak about district energy, vacuum waste systems, stormwater canals, a lot of really, they're the most progressive official plan policies that you will probably see in Canada up to this date. And I hope other municipalities take this as an example. And to have it, and that's Charles' great work, to have it attached as a condition of sale guarantees us that we will have, not a developer, we will have a partner, in which we have all along. We've had a partner in OPG, got a partner in the province, a partner in the city, even a partner in the region of Peel, because you consider that part of this strategy was to make sure that whenever something happens on the waterfront, that you, the public, for you and your children and your children's children and your children's children's children, get back that waterfront for public access. And it's at a human scale when we get it back. And it's sustainable and it's there in perpetuity. So we have the 64-acre conservation area, which I think most of you know is already under construction. Now we have another 67 acres. We received another 8 acres from TRCA as part of the small arms deal. We've received 53 acres of the entire Marina Basin and Port Credit as part of that agreement, and also 2 additional acres there. So we have achieved in the last 3 years as a community, working together and supporting each other constructively, creatively, and positively, we've achieved 141 new acres of waterfront for you, the public, forever. So that's really what it's all about. It really is all about the community coming together, the community working together, the community caring about each other. And that's what we've consistently done now for the last 12 years. So thank you all so much. Thank you.
I misspoke when I said Jim Dennehy. Of course, it's John. And you got to recall, if you go back, when we first were trying to be inspired to create inspiration like you, it was young people and students that were dreaming up what that community would look like. So John, thank you very much for you and your team and your constant inspiration, again, to make this a big part of who we are today. But it wouldn't be possible, frankly, if we didn't have a partnership with the actual owner of the property. Now, of course, there's some degree of influence from the province of Ontario, and we are working very closely with OPG on a number of fronts. And this gentleman is CEO and president of OPG. He comes from previously with Duke Energy. He is involved with a tremendous amount of investments in our electricity grid right now, and in power facilities, in the nuclear side especially. He has a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience in financial acumen when it comes to some of these projects. And he's been a great partner all the while as we move forward in the redevelopment and in the protection of this jewel in our waterfront. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeff Lash.
Well, thank you, Minister, and good afternoon, everyone. I am really pleased to be here today on behalf of Ontario Power Generation. This is a great day for your community, for our community. OPG has been a part of this community since the 1950s. That's when, as part of the post-war industrialization, we built and subsequently operated the Lakeview Generating Station here on this waterfront. We continued to be a strong part of this community through successive expansions in the 50s and the 60s of that station. At one point, Lakeview was the largest coal-fired generating station in North America. And I'm told the smokestacks, known locally as the Four Sisters, which has been stated earlier, helped to guide generations of sailors back to the shoreline. But, you know, times change. We stopped burning coal at Lakeview in 2005, as Minister Sousa pointed out, and OPG no longer burns coal at any of our stations across Ontario. This effort to move off of coal is still remaining one of the largest single actions to combat climate change in North America and perhaps the world. And you were a part of it right here in Mississauga. And today, the power we produce is 99% free of the emissions that cause smog and that contribute to climate change. That's something almost no other large-scale utility in the country or the world can claim. As we move toward a cleaner future, we've made innovative use of a number of our sites, these former generating facilities where we burn so much coal. Nanticoke on Lake Erie is now the site of our company's first large-scale solar power project. Two former coal plants in northwestern Ontario now run on sustainably harvested forest biomass. And adding to that list now is the Lakeview site, which will become a jewel on the waterfront as a place to work, live, and play. We're proud of the work that we did, and more proud of the work that the community did. We're proud of the employees that kept that station here at Lakeview running for almost 50 years, providing energy to Ontario. And we're proud of the remediation work that we've done on the site since the station was closed in 2005 that is part of getting this property ready to sell. Because that work set the stage for the bright future that we're here celebrating today. So thank you, Minister Sousa, Mayor Crombie, councilors, honored guests, for all that we've done together on the Inspiration Lakeview Master Plan. We look forward to continuing this work as we turn this vision into a reality.
So there you have it. The property is going up for sale. And that process is going to take about 60 days. JLL has been engaged now to take on those submissions. And over the next 60 days, we're going to ask upon a number of potential bidders and potential proponents to work with JLL with letters of interest to prescribe what they intend to do and how they wish to proceed within the framework and the guidelines that have been established with you in terms of what that property should be built and how it should be. After that 60 days, there'll be a moment of engagement and review to determine which ones would best suit the needs of our community. And after that, we'll then be able to announce in the fall or thereabouts who that proponent will be. In the meantime, it is going to be a pretty exciting time. There's going to be a virtual data room available only to those that sign confidentiality agreements with JLL, who are going to be the proponents to determine the technicalities and how best to proceed forward. It's going to be required to have some degree of reputation and ability to produce the type of community that we're looking for and have had experience in doing so. It's also going to require them to have the financial acumen and ability to meet those demands. Bottom line is, we want talent, we want experience within our local community to benefit as well. So the first phase will be underway by tomorrow, I understand. And then within those 60 days, we'll be able to determine how best to proceed. Keep in mind that that property, the bottom end of it, about 67 acres, is going to be given to the city of Mississauga. The proponent is going to have to remediate and redevelop that for that purpose. The uplands, as we call it, will be about 110 acres for redevelopment. And then on the top corridor and around it is what's called business employment lands, which are owned by some of you, I believe, who are also interested in how that redevelopment will be. In all, that'll be 245 acres right here in our waterfront for the benefit of our community. So congratulations, everybody, for the tremendous work that you've been doing. Congratulations to the staff at the city, to the members of the province who have been collaborating and working alongside the city, to OPG for facilitating, for the leaders of our community, Mayor Crombie, Jim Tovey, and other councillors who are here today. And more importantly, congratulations to members of the community, to people who live here, the people who care about their home, people who care about their children and their grandchildren. You've done something extraordinary today. We're doing your bidding. We're here to serve you. This property will serve all of us. Congratulations.
And I must say personally, having, being familiar with your community for so many years, this is absolutely amazing to see so many young people and so many young families back in Sherway. It makes your heart jump every time I come to visit somebody in Sherway now, and I see kids playing on the streets and young families, and it's absolutely wonderful. So thank you to all the new people that have come to really create a lot of new energy in the community here. I think it's incredible. We have a wonderful bunch of partners on this. I would like to acknowledge our federal member of parliament, Sven Spengemann, and I'd also like to thank him for the work that he did on making sure that we could get extra funding that we needed to revitalize this park. So thank you very much, Sven. Terrific job. And we also have with us Steph Sherpansky, who is our manager of park development. Steph, give a big wave. Steph, interestingly enough, and he'll probably tell you about this, he built the first park that was here. So I'm sure he'll want to, tell us a little bit about that. We also have Ryan Enright, who's the president of Shora, and Obaid Yarkin, the principal of the school here, who's been very kind to let us use the parking lot tonight. So I'm going to turn this over now. I'll be emceeing. We're going to have a few people speak, and then we're going to cut a ribbon, and then we're all going to go plant some trees, and then we'll be hungry and we'll want to eat some hamburgers. The best part. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sven Spengemann.
Thank you so much, Jim, and welcome everybody. Great to see you here on what is now, I think, officially spring. It's a beautiful day, the sun is out, and people are out in the streets, and I just want to say a few things about our parks. Parks are tremendously important. As you may know, it's our 150th, right? So we're celebrating Canada's 150th anniversary, and as a result of that, all our federal parks are free. So if you're thinking of visiting any of our federal parks, make sure you get your pass. Contact my office if you haven't gotten it yet. We've done that as a gesture to celebrate our country across the nation. We've also got terrific provincial parks and, of course, municipal parks and local parks like this one. And I think it's very much part of the fabric of our society, of our communities, to be out and about, to celebrate, to get together in parks, to have our children play, but also to interact socially, to form networks, and to enjoy the surroundings right here in our community. So I'm incredibly grateful for the city all the work that it's doing in bringing our parks to where they are today. Jim Tovey, of course, city management, city staff, and our volunteers. We've got some tree planting coming up later. Leslie and I earlier this morning were down at Rattray Marsh. We were pulling some garlic mustard. So there was the Credit Valley Conservation Authority that does a lot of work in the watershed to make sure that the ecology is right and that things are clean and user-friendly. And also teaching young people, teaching all of us about ecology, about what's part of our parks, about the animals and the plants that are right around us here in Mississauga. And diversity is improving all over the place. If you look around, it's really quite extraordinary. Once we started to take the environment seriously, bit by bit, year by year, decade by decade, things improved. And I think this park here also is very much an example of that. So I'm really grateful. And the one thing I want to say is that when we do these kinds of projects, Jim mentioned the federal government and the funding, and yes, that's very important, but it's the federal government, the province, and the city that in so many instances more and more are walking side by side, working hand in hand with the community, with our ratepayer groups, with our community organization here, and with our schools. So it's very important that we all get onto the same side of the table when it comes to the environment, when it comes to making sure that our community is in the best shape that it can be. And this again is an example. So I'm super grateful to be here. My thanks to all of you, and look forward to the grand opening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sven. I'd now like to ask Steph Sherpansky, our park manager of Parks Development, to say a few words about the construction of the park.
Thanks, Jim. Good morning, everyone. Together with Councillor Tovey and all the other dignitaries and representatives here, I just want to welcome you to the reopening of Lawton Heights Park. And as Jim said, about 20 years ago, I was the project manager who put the first park in, so life goes full circle. This playground here is one of 8 that we were successful in receiving funding from the Government of Canada through FedDev Ontario through a program called Canada 150 Community Infrastructure Program. Can everyone hear me? Okay. The investment that we received from the Government of Canada was $2.13 million, which the city also matched. In playgrounds, we've invested $1.2 million in those 8 playgrounds. The program, the Canada 150 program, is to celebrate Canada's 150th anniversary, and it's intended to leave a lasting legacy, giving a gift back to Canada. So what you see here today is my staff developed this Canada 150 playground, and what we've done, besides our regular playground redevelopment program, we've expanded it to be more accessible, therapeutic, and more playful. We've also included what you see behind you, outdoor fitness elements, which we hope will appeal to everyone in the community, sort of something for all ages while you're here. You know, as Jim was saying, playgrounds are all important to all our parks, and as Sven was saying, we hope this one will provide many happy memories for you and your families. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day here today.
Thank you very much, Steph. I'd now like to invite Ryan Enright. He's the new, fairly new president of Shora, and Ryan's actually my wife taught Ryan in high school, so Lee has told me all about Ryan. Yeah, and it was all good. It was all good, and I'm just thrilled to be working with Ryan and the new executive. They're so great to work with. That's all I'm going to have to say. And Ryan can say a few words on behalf of the community.
Hi, Sherway. Everybody hear me? All right. So my name is Ryan Enright, and I am the current president of the Sherway Homeowners and Recreation Association, which you'll know affectionately as Shora. We're in the middle of celebrating our 40th year as an association, and I'll tell you, today is a very happy day for Sherway. Thank you for coming. It's really good to see a turnout like this, and you can tell a lot of smiling faces, and I can tell that you're all happy too. When we last spoke about this new park announcement at our last Shora AGM in October at ISNA, we didn't really understand at the time what we were getting. We had some details, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that this new playground and fitness area is fantastic for the kids and adults of Sherway. So I have many thank yous today. So I'm going to sound like a bit of a tape recorder, so bear with me. This wouldn't have happened without 2 levels of government coming together. Thank you to Jim Tovey and the City of Mississauga for identifying this opportunity and applying for the funds needed to do the project. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. And thank you to Sven Spengemann and the federal government for funding this new park with Canada 150 Infrastructure Funding Program, FedDev. This park also wouldn't be here without your funding, so thank you. And somebody actually had to do the work of blowing up the old park, putting in the new one. So thank you to Parks Development at the City of Mississauga for all the construction that was organized here. And you guys did a really great job. Thank you. And that brings us to today. Councillor Tovey, thank you for taking care of today, looking after the barbecue and refreshments, printing the flyers, giving us your resources, and lining up the tree planting when we asked for it. The trees planted today will be around for, I hope, a very long time. And the planting is pretty symbolic. It shows that the city is invested in Sherway and Lawton Heights Park. And with the labor that we're all going to do today, because I see you all have closed-toed shoes, so we're all going to be planting. With the labor that we're going to put in today, it shows that the residents of Sherway are also invested. Two people have done an unbelievable amount of work in organizing today. Shafi in Councillor Tovey's office and Grace, Shore's Director of Events, have been working every day for months on today's event. So thank you both. And the Shore volunteers, yes, thank you. And the Shore volunteers that you'll see running around today, making today's event run, thank you. You'll see them around with name tags like what I'm wearing. Say hi to them, they're nice people, and they're your neighbors. And since this was done with Canada 150 funding, I personally look forward in 25 years to doing this again with Sven Spengemann and Councillor Tovey, celebrating our new park again, paid for with Canada 175 money. Can we set that up, gentlemen? You think so? Okay. So that's it. Thank you, guys. Have a great day today.
Yeah, Lee always told me I've got this funny kid in one of my dance classes. I'm like, okay, there he is. That was great. Thank you very much. It's also my pleasure and privilege right now to ask Obaid Yarkham, the principal of the ISNA School, to come and say a few words. I know the history here, and I know when the school was first opened, there was a lot of emotion attached to the school. But I would just like to say to the principal that we are a wonderfully open and inclusive community here in Mississauga and in Sherway, and we're very proud to have your educational institution here that's teaching children, teaching young people about inclusion, about diversity, and about kindness to all people. So, and I'd also like to thank you for letting us use your parking lot today, but welcome and thank you for being part of our community.
Greetings and salutations to everyone. Thank you for coming today. I've been here since 2005, and growing up in the East End, I could say this is one of the best neighborhoods I've seen in the country. So it's a very peaceful, pleasant place. Our patrons, our students, they really love the park. They love the neighborhood. I'm reaching out to everybody here today that if you need anything for the neighborhood from our school, our doors are open. Our doors are open for you. Just come to us. If you have any concerns regarding the park, the usage, please feel free to come to us. I'm working with Ryan and Grace. We've discussed different issues about the traffic and stuff. We are definitely committed for the safety of not only our children, but all the children in the park. Each child to us is one of our children as well. I'd also like to thank our members of Parliament and Council, and of course Park and Recreation, and Mr. Doherty, who I usually see. He's not here today, but I would like to congratulate them on a fantastic project. The students were watching the construction regularly during the day, and it was very exciting. And once the park opened, you could see the happiness on everyone's face. So again, I congratulate all of you, and please, our school has been here now for over 30 years, and we are definitely looking forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a few more quick thank yous, and then we will cut the ribbon to officially open the playground. I'd like to thank our 1 million tree planting program. They're over there. So thank you for coming. And you'll notice they have the coolest t-shirts and any of the t-shirts in the city of Mississauga. I'd also like to, of course, thank Shora for their co-sponsoring this event. That was absolutely great. Also like to mention that Animal Services and Library Services will be doing fun interactive presentations for the kids at 1:30 p.m. at the tennis court under the tents. So there, oh yeah, that's all set up. So that's great. And lastly, I would really like to thank, in particular, Grace Maniconi, the events coordinator, and my administrative. Yeah, let's hear it. Come on. Yeah. And of course, my administrative assistant, Shafia Yassin, who's been outstanding, actually. When Shafia started working with us about 4.5 years ago, I told her what to do. Now she tells me what to do. So I think she's worked out absolutely perfectly.
Grace is going to say a few words.
Oh, Grace wants to say a few words? Okay, come on, Grace. Come on. Okay.
That's me telling you what to do again.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I need that, Shafi. Thanks.
I think they've covered all the thank yous. I'm too short for this. But I just want to do some housekeeping. We can use the washrooms here, as well as there will be food and beverage at the tent at the very far right of me where the tree planting, that'll start at 12 o'clock. I just wanted to tell you that it's been a great honor to serve you all as the events director of Sherway Homeowners Association this past year. It's been a great honor. I want to personally thank my family for putting up with you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to take this day off, you have to do this, and so I want to thank you all for that. I want to thank Shafia. We worked really hard on this, and I'm so pleased, especially our student volunteers who have come out on several occasions to deliver flyers. I can't thank you enough for being a part of our community and opening up this park with us. So we'd love all the children at one point when Jim calls you up to line up against the park here, and then we'll just kind of break through and start a new great year. So thank you so much for being a part of this.
Hey, Grace, did you want to line?
Yeah, let's go. All the children.
Oh, sure, yeah.
All the children can line up here with you.
Yeah, there's everybody else.
Do you want to right now, or do you want to?
There we go. All right. Got a cool playground here.
Look, why don't you stand? Do you want to stand right next to Logan? Go take a picture. And Rowan's here too.
Why don't you come on in? You got a great hat.
I'm not in the way. You don't want to be in the picture? He wants to give you guys something. Okay, look at the camera, Rowan.
Got it?
Okay. Okay. All right. Put that down. Put that down. Just go to grab it.
On the count of three.
Count of three. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
I want Chris to get the blue.